If you're the kind of person who wants a machine that just works, that won't surprise you with a strange jitter halfway through a leather patch, and that feels like a solid investment instead of a monthly regret, you're probably already feeling a little hesitant about stepping into the industrial sewing world. The last thing you need is a piece of equipment that looks great on the spec sheet but turns out to be a headache in your workshop. I've spent the past few weeks talking to shop owners, reading forums where hobbyists trade tips, and watching a handful of long-form builds to see where the real value hides. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's start with the basics of what you actually do with a machine like this. The Juki DNU 1541S is a single-needle, walk-foot industrial unit designed for everything from upholstery repairs to custom leather accessories. That walk-foot part means the feed shoes move in sync with the needle, which is a big deal when you're feeding thick vinyl or a heavy canvas. In the real world, that translates to a smoother stitch line, less chance of the fabric bunching up, and a lot less time spent stopping to realign the material. I saw a small upholstery shop that used the DNU 1541S to replace a broken cushion on a high-traffic office chair. The technician ran the foot across a 1-inch thick foam insert with a leather cover, and the machine didn't miss a beat, no skipped stitches, no need to backtrack. Now, the safety mechanism that Juki highlights is more than a marketing buzzword. It's a pressure sensing system that stops the needle automatically if the foot encounters an unexpected obstruction. In a hobby shop that's stitching a leather belt, that can prevent a needle break that would otherwise ruin a piece of leather and cost you a replacement part. In a commercial setting, it reduces the risk of an operator's hand getting caught if the machine is left unattended for a moment. That's the kind of practical safety you actually notice after you've run a few dozen jobs and realize you're not constantly watching the needle. Who should consider buying this machine? If you already know that you'll be working with materials heavier than typical garment fabrics, think leather jackets, vinyl tote bags, upholstery panels, or even canvas tarps, the DNU 1541S fits that niche nicely. It's also a good match for someone who is moving from a home sewing setup to a small-scale production line. The walking foot and servo motor give you the consistency needed for repeatable stitching, so a small business that needs to churn out dozens of identical pieces will benefit. The price point, while not cheap, sits under many other industrial models that bundle extra features you probably won't use, like multi-needle heads or integrated embroidery modules. On the flip side, if you're a hobbyist who only occasionally mends a denim jacket or sews a few quilts a year, the DNU 1541S might be overkill. The machine size and the need for a dedicated work table mean you'll have to carve out space in your garage or studio. Plus, the included lamp is functional but not a substitute for a proper shop lighting system. If you're looking for a lightweight, portable unit that you can store in a closet, you'll likely be better served by a high-end domestic machine with a built-in walking foot attachment. Let's talk about the real-world setup. The unit arrives mostly assembled, which is a relief compared to some industrial machines that ship in a crate of parts and require a full day of wiring. You'll still need to bolt the table to a sturdy base and run the power cord to a grounded outlet, nothing exotic, but it does mean you have to plan your workspace ahead of time. The included accessories cover the essential foot and a basic lamp, so you won't be hunting down extra parts right out of the gate. I saw a DIY maker who paired the DNU 1541S with a simple metal frame he already had, and the whole rig was up and running in under 2 hours. What about the day-to-day usability? The servo motor provides a smooth, almost silent operation compared to the whine you hear from older belt-driven units. In a small studio, that quietness can make the difference between a focused work environment and a noisy distraction. The foot pedal feels responsive, and the tension dial is easy to adjust on the fly, a small but significant detail when you're switching between a thin synthetic lining and a thick leather strap in the same job. I watched a leathercraft artist switch from stitching a thin wallet interior to a thick strap, and the machine handled both without any noticeable lag or need for a prolonged warm-up. Of course, no machine is perfect. One practical weakness that showed up in a few user forums is the limited stitch length range. The DNU 1541S tops out at about 5 mm, which is fine for most heavy fabrics but can be restrictive if you need a very long stitch for decorative stitching on canvas. Another point is the thread tension system. It's